All right, what's your name?
My name is Dr. Joseph A. Beneventon.
What happened with the woman in the freezer?
Okay.
What's up, my YouTube family? It's your boy Just Dang. Man, I want y'all to check this video out with me, man. You hear me? I know y'all saw the way Doc just closed his eyes and gave these folks his first, middle, and last name like he had to think of it. It got me anxious to hear his story, y'all. You hear me? If you're new to the boy Just Dang, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man, and follow me on my journey. Let's get into the video, y'all.
Okay, I go there every day to feed the parrots. I've been going there almost 25 years. One day I go there and Bob told me that Mary passed away. I go in the room and she was inverted on a 180. Her pelvic was like in your face. The thing was, I told Bob, I said, okay, Miramar has a cemetery, national cemetery for us veterans. I said, let's go there and bury Mary. What happened was, I smoked some weed and I passed out for like 5 hours. When I got
Somebody in the gang auction weed, but and he hit that weed and got to float. Somebody passed out for 5 hours. He don't remember nothing he done.
got up to drive from Allied Gardens back to Claremont. I don't know how I did it, but it was like God. Driving my truck all the way back to Claremont.
Yeah.
What happened
Doc was out for real, y'all. And I ain't talking about God was driving a truck and shit. God damn.
was, I asked him, I said, you know, there's a freezer back there, and I passed out. So the next day, I went behind the bird cage and I opened the freezer, and Mary was in there. And I said, why'd you do this? He said, well, I need the money. I said, what money? He said, Mary took all the equity out of the house. She paid $189,000 for the house. She took all the money out of the house and gave it to her sister. So what happened, I said, you can't do this. This is against the law. I'm going to go home and call homicide. What happened was, I rent this house from him, and he said, I'll give you the house, just pay the property tax. So I've been paying it for 2 years. The thing is, when I went back again the next day, I said, you can't do this. He said, why not? I said, this is against the law. You can't do this. You got to bury her in the ground. And I said, on top of that, Mary told me this a long time ago. If she passes away, she wants to be buried in Missouri, because I'm from New York, and I say Missouri. I don't say Missouri. She wants to be buried next to Uncle Pat in the cemetery. And Bob said, no. I said, you can't do this. So he went in the room and got a shotgun and he loaded it. And he said, the next time you talk about this, guess where you're going? So.
Man, can y'all imagine that? Man, listen to the Doc, man. Doc said that man that went in the room got a shotgun. Loaded it up. And told him, you better not say nothing else about this no more.
Wait, let me have you back up. How did Mary die?
Mary died of natural causes. She was 400 pounds. When she passed away, she was 98. The thing was, she wouldn't eat. So I go every day I went over for the parrots, I used to feed her. And Bob said, what are you doing? I said, I'm feeding Mary. I said, I know Mary 30 years. I'm taking care of Mary. I said, I'm taking care of you too. So the thing was,
you say she died of natural causes. What
yeah,
do you
she
think it
died.
was?
Well, she had Alzheimer's dementia, and she wouldn't eat anymore.
Did Bob have dementia?
Sorta. He used to have mini strokes.
Yeah.
And
okay. Well, I saw her autopsy report, and that report said that he forced you at gunpoint to help him put her in the freezer.
Oh, I didn't do that. I had nothing to do with that.
You
Look at Doc. Doc hit that weed. He don't remember much, you hear me? So this man that had him gun point, you hear me? Man, talking about killing him and everything. Doctor did everything the man told him to do. Doc had all the time in the world to think about his story.
nothing to do with what?
Putting Mary in the freezer. I had nothing to do with that.
What was the financial gain? What kind of
Mary got Maury.
Wait, start again. Go ahead.
Mary got 4 checks, retirement checks. One from Kaiser for a doctor's retirement like me. One from the Army for 18 years of service. One from Social Security, and one from VA, but she was only 90%. I was 100%. So Bob was mad at me why I'm 100% and Mary's only 90.
So how much money are we talking about?
$108,000.
No, per month. How much did she get?
I would say at least 10 grand a month, tax free.
Wow. If she was in the freezer, how was her husband able to cash those checks?
Somehow, when she had Alzheimer's dementia, I think that she signed over everything to him, including the house.
Okay. What do you think he did?
Well, he did it for financial gain because Mary took all the equity out of the house. So he had to pay the mortgage back. The only way to pay the mortgage back was the 4 checks that Mary was getting. So
let me have you clarify. Did you at any time help put Mary's body in the freezer?
No way. No way. I had nothing to do with that. I was stoned. I passed out in the backyard. When I woke up, I was still stoned. I drove from Allied Gardens all the way back to...
Man, what type of weed doctor smoke y'all? Because I don't recall weed doing this much damage to the brain, you hear me? Straight up.
Claremont. How I did that, I don't even remember driving back.
Was she in the freezer before you left and drive back to Claremont?
I don't know because I never looked.
The freezer was plugged in this whole time, right?
I don't even know if there was a freezer at the time I passed out.
All right.
But the next day when I went...
How long do you figure her body was...
You mean to tell me you ain't know there was no freezer in the backyard? You ain't see no freezer in the backyard when you passed out high? What was y'all doing when you back there passed out high, though?
Was in the freezer.
10 years. Because I wrote the date down.
You had a stroke in December of 23, right?
Right, 23.
So when was her body put in the freezer?
I would say 2013. She was gone for at least 10 years, not 9 years, because I wrote the date down. And by writing the date down, I figured that she was going to, bury her at either Miramar or in Missouri. Okay. And he never did. So what happened was, I told Homicide this.
Well, what did Homicide say about the financial fraud?
They said, well, we got to prove it. And they said, what are the 4 digits? It was 9 o'clock at night on the 23rd of December of 23 when they came over to talk to me. They said, why did he do it? I said, well, let me go in the house and get the statement from North Island Federal Credit Union. And it had 4 digits, the last 4 digits of 4 checks up on the top. Homicide said, what's this? I said, one's Army retirement, one's doctor's retirement, one is SSI retirement, and the other one was Kaiser Doctors Benefits Like Us retirement.
Did Homicide ever think you were a suspect as part of the financial fraud?
I had nothing to do with it. I have my own money. Why do I need money from somebody else? No, they just told me to lay low. And I've been laying low. But the problem is, I like to know about Mary, I mean, it's her privacy, but the thing is, he put her in the freezer, and threatened to kill me, 2 or 3 times with that shotgun. And I got scared, so the thing was...
Why did he threaten to kill you?
Because Mary was in the freezer. And he didn't want me to call Homicide. He said, you call Homicide, I'm going to burn the house down. I said, go ahead, it's your house, burn it down. But
do you think there's any possibility that Bob killed?
Hey, man, that man put him a bad spot, didn't he? You hear me? I'm talking about you threatening to shoot the man with a shotgun. From shooting him with a shotgun, you're talking about burning the house now. Imagine the way that man been living his life, knowing that you let this woman pass away, or not let her pass away, but the woman done passed away from natural causes, and you didn't get a woman a good burial because you wanted to gain money from her every month from the checks that she's still receiving. That's a tough one right there, boy.
Killed her and she didn't die of natural causes?
No. He's mean. He was mean to me for over 20 years. But the thing is, I don't, hypothetically, I don't think he would have done that. Because the day I got there, she was already, rigor mortis set in. So her body was stiff, but her body was in a 180 like this. And her pelvic was like right here, like in your face. And I said, when she died? He said, probably yesterday. I said, you don't know when she died? He said, after you fed her and left, I think that's when she died. But the thing was, why was her body like this in a 180 and her pelvic was in the air? So I didn't have...
She was naked in the freezer.
Yeah, she was naked. Because...
Man, what the hell was this woman doing in the freezer naked? What was this man doing before this woman passed away? Or should I say why she was gone? What was this man doing before he put this woman inside the freezer for her to be in that naked, y'all?
The thing was, I told...
Why would she be naked when she died like that?
Because she walked around the house with no clothes on. And every time I used to go there, I'd get a bathrobe and put it on her. I said, you can't be doing this, Mary. You gotta wear some clothes, please.
All right.
I see why the husband mad at him. He coming over there helping Mary, and she walking around the house with no clothes.
Anything else you have to say? What do you think the community needs to know? There's been a big mystery about all of this.
Well, you see, the thing was, I told homicide on December 23rd when I reported this because he had a heart attack and a stroke.
Wait a minute. He had a stroke. The family came out from Kentucky.
The only reason the family...
And you told the family that the body was in the back, right?
Right. But the only reason the family came out because I'm not blood. And I can't make decisions for him while he was in Kaiser. So I called Wendy to come out here to make decisions for Bob because I can't do it. I'm not related. So she came out, and Wendy... Well, it wasn't Wendy that came out. It was the husband of Wendy, Mark, and it was his son, Scott, that came out. And the thing was, I was cleaning the house so Bob can come back to the house.
Hey, let me ask you something. What's going to happen to you? Because Bob owns this house, right?
I have no idea. I have to move. I have nowhere to go.
How long have you been living in Bob's house here?
Since 1997.
Did you continue to pay rent, or did he
No,
let you live there for free?
No, I paid rent for $1,000 a month, but in August of 23, he said, I give you the house, just pay the property tax. And I paid it 5 times already, the property tax. And I told Wendy this, that he said literally, I'm not gonna give you the deed, just pay the property tax and you can have the house. I said, what about the deed? He said, well, it's downtown in the county building.
Do you think you're going to get evicted from that house?
Yes.
Why?
Even though Bob said he gave me the house, she said she was going to talk to her father. I don't know if she did or not. But I told Wendy, I said, for almost 27 years living here, I went over your dad's house every day. And I took care of him. I gave him his metformin every day. I took care of the man. At the end, within the last 6 months of him living in the house, I go up the street to Mona Lisa. I used to buy $30, $40 worth of food every day. And I never...
Let me ask you something. When he was in the hospital with the stroke, I mean, he died about two months after.
But you see, I didn't know that.
Did the homicide ask him about his wife's body in the freezer?
I have no idea.
Because Wendy told me that he couldn't remember putting her in the freezer because he has dementia. Does that sound right?
Yeah, about right, yeah. I think
Did he recognize you at the end?
Not really. Because I used to put him in my truck and take him places. And take him places like getting something to eat. And the thing was, he smelled so bad that I had to cover the seat with a blanket. And he said, why do I smell? I said, because your bathroom is all messed up. You have food, you have frozen food in the bathtub. What's going on? I said, I'll clean the bathtub for you, but I want you to take a shower. I cleaned the bathroom. The next day, the stuff was still back. He cleaned the freezer out again, and he put everything in the bathtub.
Well, this house here doesn't look like it's in...
Boy, they done put Doc in a hell of a situation, didn't they? Got Doc over, cleared him up, taking care of him, taking places, everything, you hear me? Now Doc got to end up getting out the house when it's all over. He ain't got no paperwork on this house. This man that passed away. It's crazy. He been living in the house since 1997 too, y'all. You hear me?
very great shape either.
No, this house, I mean, there's holes in the floor in the kitchen, there's holes in the ceiling. The roof, there was no roof on the house. I put a roof on the house.
Okay.
I put a gas heater in the house.
All right, let me ask you again. I think I asked you already, but what do you have to say if someone thinks you were involved in the financial fraud with Bob?
If it was a financial fraud with Bob, where's the money? What do I have to show for it? I have nothing to show for it.
You got nothing in the bank?
I have zero. Well, I got $400,000 in the bank, but that's my money. I
That didn't come from Mary's benefits?
No.
He talking about he got 400,000 in his bank, y'all. Hold up now. This story right here got a whole lot of seasoning on it, y'all. You hear me? Here it is, Doc talking like if it'd be homeless and evicted it out on the streets. Doc got 400,000 down there, $500,000, y'all. Where the hell all this money come from?
You see, Mary, before she had Alzheimer's and dementia, she told me, she said, how come I didn't take you guys' advice in the operating room not to marry this guy? I said,
well, I mean, for 9 years, you say he was in the freezer and Bob was collecting the benefits and you're Bob's best friend. You weren't aware that he was collecting
Oh, I was very aware.
And he didn't help you out and give you some of the money or anything?
No, I told him, I said, I don't want nothing to do with this. If anything goes down, it's you, not me. I didn't put her in the freezer. You did. You threatened me.
How many of y'all think him and Bob was breaking bread together? You hear me? It's a lot of money involved. Y'all hear me? He talk about that big money. You hear me? Guess what? The doctor only want to live to tell to talk about this stuff.
Backyard. And then the next day I go there was a freezer. So I opened it up and there was Mary. And I go in the house. I said, you can't do this. You got to bring her to either Miramar, Veterans Cemetery, or you're going to bring it to Missouri next to Uncle Pat. He said,
walk me through what he said to you when he threatened you with a gun.
He went in the room. He got an 870. I told Homicide this. I said, you know what an 870 Remington is? He said, I have no idea. I said, it's a shotgun. That's what he threatened me.
Look, Doc, he said he remember what kind of gun it was and everything. Y'all hear me? Doc said he'll never forget that day.
Walk me through it. What did he do and what did he say?
Well, he went in. There was a spare room where when Wendy came out here in the 80s, she lived in that room. The thing was, when Wendy left, the room was vacant, so he used to put everything in the room.
But he went in?
Excuse me?
He went into the room and got the gun?
Yeah, he went in the room. I don't know if he even loaded it, because it was a single, it wasn't a side-by-side, it was a single barrel.
Right.
And I...
Man, hold up now. I thought Doc said earlier in the video, y'all, that he went in the room, got a shotgun and loaded it. And told him that he was going to kill him if he said anything else, about what was going on. Come on now. Doc, you're a good storyteller.
I said, is that loaded? He goes, you want to find out? So I said, screw this. I said, you know what? I ain't feeding the parrots. I'm out of here. When you stop threatening...
What did he say?
Doc said he threatened to stop feeding the parrots.
to you when he was holding the gun?
He said, you want to die? I said, well, not really. You know, I love life.
Right. What did you do when you were working before you were retired?
I was a doctor at Kaiser.
You were a doctor at Kaiser? What kind
I
of
used
doctor?
to work a trauma surgeon, but I got hired as a general surgeon.
Wow. What do you do now?
Retired. VA retired.
Okay. What's your VA history?
I got PTSD. I got a bad case of it. I was in Vietnam, so you know, it
Right.
kind of carried over. When I
Okay.
got out after 10 years, I don't have.
Where'd you serve? Vietnam?
Yeah, in Vietnam.
All right.
Thank y'all for watching. If you're rocking, hit that subscribe button so YouTube can recommend this video to a wider audience. Until next video, I'm out.